Hey guys, I'm making this video to give you some information that you're going to need for the quiz on Monday about food webs. So we've been talking about food chains in class. We talk about how energy starts from the sun and is then given to plants like the cactus. This is our desert food chain. Okay, so the cactus is a producer because it is able to get its energy from the sun. Grasshoppers may eat either parts of the cactus or other small plants, so they get their energy from plants. Next, energy is transferred to the kangaroo rat because the rat eats the grasshopper. And finally, at the top of the food chain is the hawk because the hawk eats the rat. Okay, so the hawk, the kangaroo rat, they would be carnivores. They are consumers. The grasshopper is a consumer, but it is a herbivore. The grasshopper is an herbivore because it eats plants. So now we're going to talk about something new. So this is our food chain again, but in real life these aren't the only living things in the desert biome. There might be lizards, but what do lizards eat? They also eat grasshoppers. There's also snakes. Guess what they eat? They eat the lizard. But the hawk eats both the snake and the kangaroo rat. Notice how there's now two chains, okay? Energy going from the sun, cactus, grasshopper, then to the lizard, then the snake, then the hawk. And then there's also a chain going, the one that we saw before, going from the grasshopper to the rat to the hawk. When there is more than one chain, we call that a web, a food web. Alright, and one thing I want you guys to think about is if, say, there's something missing from the food chain, the things below it will increase because nothing's eating them, and the components above it will decrease because then they suddenly have no food. So in this example, imagine that something happened to grasshoppers, and grasshoppers were no longer in the desert. The cactus would be able to grow extra because there's nothing eating it. But everything above it would be affected because they would suddenly have no food. You might think, oh, well, the hawk can still eat kangaroo rats. But no, they can't because they have no food. So the rats will start to die, and then the hawks not having food will not be able to survive either. So if a component in the chain is missing in a food web or food chain, the components below it in the chain will increase because nothing is eating them. They have less predators, and the components above them will decrease because they have no food source. Okay, and I just want to clarify, we talked about decomposers in class, such as mushrooms, worms, okay, other things. Remember, they do not get their energy from the sun, so they're not like plants. They don't conduct photosynthesis. They get their energy from other living or usually dead things in the food chain, and they return those nutrients from those things to the soil, which is then given back to plants. So it kind of creates a circle effect. You know, the energy goes through, and then when these things die, the mushrooms or other decomposers bring the energy back to help the plants. Okay, that's what I want to clarify. So make sure you study these concepts because they are going to be in the quiz on Monday or Tuesday because there's a festivo. Alright, good luck.